So this is kind of a unique situation. We're going with no picture tonight. Maybe it's for the best, you know what I'm saying? But you're missing my cute cowgirl hat. Just saying, this is my Rip hat now. I used to say it was my Trish Stratus hat, but now it's my Rip hat. Anyway, One Night Rodeo by Lorelei James. One of my favorite books that I've read in a long, long, long time, and I would show you all the points of light again if we had a picture. I'm going to read you the back of this, and I will share the points with you. I will not share the language that they share in this book. I will not share the intimate, hot, passionate moments. You have to read the book for yourself if you're 18 and older, preferably. And here we go. All it takes is one night to change a cowboy's life. Celia Lawson knows better than to tangle with a sexy bull rider named Kyle Gilchrist, who has earned a reputation for his love 'em and leave 'em ways. But after a tequila-fueled night, Celia wakes up to discover she's gotten herself hitched to the one man she never should have married. When Celia insists on an annulment, Kyle isn't ready to let go of his new bride. And when Kyle inherits a sprawling Wyoming ranch, he seizes the opportunity to enlist Celia's help. She agrees to lend a hand with two conditions. He's got 6 months to get up to speed as a rancher. Then they'll get a divorce, and their marriage will be in name only. Though Kyle agrees to Celia's demands, he's out to prove that he has what it takes to turn their one-night rodeo into a lifetime of love. Okay. For the readers who worried that Kyle would not find his happily ever after, it's finally here. And oddly enough, we're starting on the very first page. That's how many points of light we have on this. Of course, I like giving you guys a background so you know a little bit about the characters and what game we're playing here in the book, so to speak. So let's start out. And if this part doesn't remind you of the Triple H Stephanie from days of WWE when they first started, y'all need to watch that storyline. It was one of the better storylines, and it's what got me watching wrestling, honestly. It was the Test, Triple H, and Stephanie storyline. And when Triple H came out in that black leather coat, and he said, you need to watch this. And they up on the Titratron, we seen drive-through wedding chapel with Triple H and Stephanie getting married. So Test and Stephanie couldn't get married because she was already married. Just a brief rundown. Anyway, you get the gist. We're going to kind of go into that situation here. Las Vegas, Nevada. Son, your father is dying. Kyle Gilchrist pulled his cell phone away from his ear, staring at it as if it had grown horns. Ma, what the heck are you talking about? You've always told me I was an immaculate conception, or that you found me in a cabbage patch, or that you were hit by a truck. Being nice, cleaning it up a little bit so if the younger kids watch, it's all okay. Kyle Dean Gilchrist, for once in your life, don't be sarcastic. You need to come back to Wyoming as soon as possible. He wants to see you. Who? He demanded. Your father. All of a sudden I have a father? Who is he? Can't tell you. A tiny sigh sounded. Look, he wants to meet you face to face, talk in person, explain a few things. Kyle's resentment flared, and he attempted to keep his tone. So why didn't he call me himself if he's suddenly all fired up and ready to take on his daddy responsibilities to be a grown man? He doesn't feel you two ought to hold this conversation over the phone. Plus, he's on a respirator. And why should I give two crap about him? It's not like he never gave a hoot about me. Believe it or not, he does care about you. He always has. Why should I believe that? He couldn't keep the skepticism out of his tone. She blurted, he's leaving you an inheritance and he wants to discuss it with you. Kyle's beer stopped halfway to his mouth. Come again? He's leaving you everything. The land, the cattle, the buildings, whatever cash is left over, everything is yours. He had no other children. You're his only heir. His father. An inheritance. This was beyond surreal. And Kyle had thought last night was an epic mind-blower. Son, you still there? His mother was said, prompting a response. The hotel door opened and she sauntered in. His paw skipped a beat or 7 as it always did whenever he saw her. She stopped by the bed and asked, Kyle, is everything all right? He shook his head, still trying to wrap the brain around the bizarre news. His mother demanded, who's that with you? My wife, Kyle drawled, keeping his eyes focused on the woman wearing his ring. Your wife? Since when did you get married and you didn't tell me? Don't go there, Ma. Not when you dropped a bombshell that my alleged father. Who is she? His mother demanded an answer. I'll make you a deal. I'll give you her name if you give me my father's name. There was silence. That's what I thought. I'll be in touch soon. Bye. He hung up and tossed the phone aside, never breaking eye contact with the woman standing next to him. You going to tell me what that was all about, especially blabbing the my wife part to your mother? You are my wife, and it looks like we're going to meet the family sooner than we expected. Oh, no. Oh, heck no. She cocked her hands on her hips and glared at him. We both agreed that this Vegas marriage was a drunken mistake, and we'll get it annulled soon as possible. Kyle gave her a very slow, very once-over look, letting the heat in his eyes serve as a reminder of their wedding night. You know, I had time to think about that, and I don't want to get the marriage annulled. He toasted her with his beer. So pack your bags, kitten. We're headed home to Wyoming tonight. Oh, goodness gravy. So, let's see here. I'm trying to find my next spot where I marks. This is sometimes my marks are not that great. Okay, page 6. That was page 1, 2, and 3. We're going to page 6 and 7 and 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. We're going to stop at page 12 because I work tomorrow and it's already after 3. Tanya held up 4 fingers. 4, really, huh? Didn't seem like that many. How's your head? Hard, but you knew that. The doc was worried that I had a concussion, so they x-rayed my melon too. Once again, those icy gray eyes zipped to him. Not a word about them finding my head empty, Gilchrist. He'd had enough of her tough girl attitude. Knock it off. I get that you're scared. How do you know that? Because, kitten, you hiss and you claw when you're afraid. Kyle picked up her hand and rubbed her cold fingertips against his jaw. So hiss and claw at me, I can take it. You need to shave, she snapped, jerking her hand back, and I'm not scared, I'm annoyed. The curtain fluttered and Devin McLean strolled in through the country music, although the country music star was barely recognizable in a ratty ball cap and sunglasses. Hey, brat, what you got done yourself now? Devin, how did you... Celia blinked at him in confusion. Kyle called me in a complete panic. Had me thinking I'd find you on your deathbed. I wasn't sure if he wanted me here to hold your hand or his. Kyle muttered, Shut it, idiot. Devin raised an eyebrow, peering over his shades at Celia. Seems you've had a miraculous recovery. Why won't anyone believe that I'm fine? I just got the wind knocked out of me. Darling, you were knocked out cold, Tanya drawled, and she offered her hand to Devin. Nice to finally meet you, Devin. I'm Tanya Barker. I've heard lots about you from Celia. Been your family friend from Muddy Gap, homeboy. A true pleasure to meet you, too, Tanya. Great run last night. Thanks, she blurted. Oh, my goodness, I can't believe I'm standing here with Devin McLean. I'm such a huge fan. Your songs, Chains and Trains, is one of my favorite all-time songs. I never do get tired of hearing that. Thank you. When Devin granted Tanya the $1,000,000 smile, Kyle could have sworn that rowdy Texas cowgirl swooned. So what's the diagnosis? Devin asked Celia. Still waiting for the x-rays to tell us. Have you called her brothers? Devin asked Kyle. Immediately. Celia grabbed a fistful of Devin's sweatshirt, grimacing as she pulled herself upright. No, and I swear to goodness, I will beat you bloody if you do. She leveled the same venomous look on Kyle. That goes for you, too. But Celia, they need to... No. Do you hear me? Janie is in the last 2 weeks of her pregnancy, and I won't upset her, or Abe, or anything. And Hank and Lanny are leaving for Boulder for the consult for Brennia's eye surgery. They need to focus on her and each other, not me. Promise me that you won't tell them. Surprised by her tears, Kyle bent closer. Sweet, fierce Celia wasn't upset about being almost beat to crap. She was worried about her family's reaction to it. I won't tell them as long as you promise to call them within a day or 2. Okay, thank you. He raised an eyebrow. No arguing with me, really? That's one for the record books. I don't always argue with you. Yes, you do. No, I don't. See, you're still doing it. You started it. As much as I'd like to say I'd hear another round of this witchy banter, foreplay, not. I need to get ready to ride tonight, Tanya said. Now that I know you recovered enough to bicker with Kyle, Devin said, I can head back to the event center for my final sound check. Would it be too much trouble to drop me off at the arena? Tanya asked Devin. I'm without a vehicle. Oh, no problem at all. You're both just leaving me? Tanya rolled her eyes. You keep insisting you're fine, remember? Besides, Kyle will take better care of you than I have today. She squeezed Celia's arm. I'll see you later. So, brat, you still coming to the concert tonight or what? Devin asked. Kyle said no the same time Celia said yes. Good luck with that argument. We're out of here. Devin held the curtain for Tanya, and they disappeared. Don't give me that look, Kyle. Kitten, you're blushed to the tips of your toes if you notice how I've been looking at you for the past 2 years. So you can tell Kyle has had an undercurrent of always being attracted to Celia, but just not shown it or acted on it. What look? The bossy one. Tough, because I have every intention of bossing you around tonight. The curtain rolled back, and a good young male doctor stopped at the end of the bed. Good news. No concussion, no broken bones or cracked ribs, no ruptured organs. You'll be sore for a few days, but I imagine more bruises will appear. My advice is to take it easy. Alternate the ice and the heat with the sore spots, but I'm well aware that you rodeators, there's a word for you, don't often follow medical advice, so the best advice I can give you on the medical front is to prescribe painkillers. Celia shook her head. I hate the groggy way they make me feel. That's how you're supposed to feel, like you ought to be laying down and resting, Kyle pointed out. That's rich, coming from a bull rider who's ridden with a sprained thumb, a sprained wrist, a sprained ankle, a pulled groin muscle, and a mild concussion. All in the last year. You refused pain medication, and I didn't see you resting any of those times. He had no response for that. Mostly he's surprised she'd taken note of all his injuries. I'm writing you a script for pain medications. It's up to you to fill it, the doctor said. The stitches need to come out in a week. Any other questions? Nope. Good. No more mixing bulldogging with drinking Mad Dog whiskey, okay? If you insist. The doctor laughed. You can get dressed. The nurse will be in with your discharge papers shortly. Celia sat up and kicked away the blanket, dangling her legs off the bed. Kyle's eyes drank in every inch of those rigid calf muscles covered by that smooth, pale skin. His gaze traveled up, slowly stopping at the equally curve of her knee. Stop gawking at my legs like you never seen 'em before. He didn't bother banking in the admiration in his eyes. Hard not to stare when you're sporting such a fine pair. You just noticed that? No. The air between them vibrated, and Kyle's invaded her space this close to her, and it felt like 1-2 punch of something stronger than Boom Boom would that be so bad? What? Letting me watch over you tonight. An internal debate warred in her eyes. Kyle braced himself for a smart but rebuttal. Watch over me like a brother would? The last way I think of you, Celia Lawson, is like a sister, and you darn well know it. He pressed his lips to her forehead. I'm glad you came to Vegas, Cell. I was afraid you wouldn't show up. Kyle, He placed another kiss on the edge of her bandage. Can we talk about this later? Define later. The skin below the bandage needed a kiss as well. Right after we leave here at my hotel, you need to skedaddle so I can get dressed. In a second, he smoothed the flyaway strands from her face, and the honey-eyed scent of her hair filled his lungs, and he seemed to breathe easy for the first time since he heard she was hurt. He left one last smooch on her lips that totally flustered her, which was odd, given that it wasn't the first time he kissed her. Hand me my clothes. He dropped the pile on the bed. I'll be right outside. No peeking, she warned as he ducked out. Kyle paced the length of the privacy curtain. On his 5th pass, he heard her gasp. Worried that she strained herself, he poked his head back in. What's wrong? Celia clutched a wad of fabric to her chest. It was my favorite shirt, my lucky favorite purple shirt. Now it's covered in blood and completely ruined. A little hiccup escaped her lips. I can't wear this. Are the jeans ruined too? No, just a few splotches of blood. Tossing that shirt in the trash ain't no big loss in my mind. I'm thinking its luck ran out. Never looked that great on you anyway. Celia lifted her head, probably to snap at him. Before she opened her mouth, Kyle gently wiped away her tears. Come on, kitten. I was kidding. Pretty stupid to be so upset over a blouse, huh? Somehow I don't think it was just about the blouse, and given that you're in the hospital, you're entitled to a few tears. You don't always have to act tough, you know. Kyle popped the buttons on his long-sleeve western shirt. Although I wouldn't mind seeing you in just a sexy bra and then those tight jeans, I don't think they want you to flash the entire ER when I bust you out of this place. Here, wear this. He draped his shirt over the pillow and tucked his white T-shirt into his jeans. Oh, isn't he a gentleman? Side note. Thanks. Interesting that Celia couldn't take her eyes off his big chest. My pleasure. Kyle kissed her forehead twice. What's with you kissing me all the time now? She asked crossly. I hardly think a couple of pecks could be considered me kissing you all the time. His eyes searched hers, but I could ramp up the kisses to spark your memory from few weeks back if you like. In your dreams. Kyle chuckled. I'll be right outside if you need anything. Let's see here. Well, it looks like the next 2 pages are real short, so we can do them. Page 17. Kyle couldn't believe that she ditched him. To add insult to injury, she left him a note Meet you at the concert, see. For crying out loud, she couldn't be going to the crappy concert with 10 stitches in her head. He half expected to find bloody bandage in the garbage. Reckless, stupid woman made him want to paddle her butt again, but not in a room full of people like last year at Breck's hotel suite on the eve of Celia's birthday. Okay, on page 19, got a couple of spots. After the breakup, Kyle had seen suspicion in Breck's eyes, as if Kyle had encouraged the breakup because he wanted Celia for himself. Feelings that had running scared and now had him chasing after her. Yes, I'm looking at the next page to see how much we have marked. Okay, page 23, 24. We'll do this last one here, and then we'll call it a night. I don't appreciate being ditched, Celia, Kyle said in that deep, sexy rasp of his. She stood, hoping neither man would notice that she was attracted to Kyle. We'll just shorten it down a little bit. Being forced to hang out with me has to cramp your style, bull rider. Notice how she's already saying that being with her must be a cramp in his style because she's not good enough is what she's basically saying in a roundabout way. That might be true if I had a style, and you can't force me to do anything I wouldn't be here if I didn't want to be. Great line, Kyle. That's just me talking on the side. Devon sighed. No fighting. I need only good vibes in here. Well, we'll just go over here, Kyle said, directing Celia to the bar. He filled 2 shot glasses with 3 fingers of tequila. So are we calling a truce? Celia murmured. Kyle's eyes pinned hers. I thought we called a truce on New Year's Eve. Kyle, not now. You promised that we would talk about this, and we haven't. So when are we going to talk about it? Why did you come to Vegas? For Devon's concert, she said way too fast. He got right in her face. Really? Stop being such an idiot. Celia threw her shoulders back and met his gaze head on. No. At least that was honest. Kyle inched even closer. And what are you so afraid of? Tequila, the truth serum, had her blurting out, you. And me. And if that kiss, that weekend we spent together, was a fluke? What if it wasn't? He countered softly. Flustered, she had to glance away. Kyle tipped her chin up. Tell me you don't feel this. I do feel it. I just don't know what to do about it. Give in to it for just one night. What's the worst that could happen? He held her shot glass up for a toast. Celia clinked the glass to his, down the tequila. Fine. I'll give in to it, but you better keep me from doing anything stupid. And, of course, then when they wake up hitched, I think this is where we start in, where they wake up hitched, right? I've got to mark these pages better. Just saying. Better than just a little spot at the top. Anyway, we'll start again tomorrow. That's part 1. There'll probably be lots of parts to this book because it's so good. I'm having to clean the language up to make it a little bit better than what it was, hopefully, for y'all. And I know that when you read this book, you're going to be so drawn to it that you won't want to put it down because it was hard for me to put it down. Hope to see you tomorrow. Tonight I will sign off with my usual. I wish you all the best, faith, hope, and love and joy. Greatest being love. May you have gratefulness and gratitude in your heart and learn to give to others. Make somebody else's day better just for being them. Tonight we went through the Arby's drive-thru and we gave them some chocolates that I got recently on sale. And I gave it to them so that they would have a better day. And that's all what it takes is something small to improve somebody else's day. So do that for someone out there. Okay? And I wish everyone prosperity in the bank as well as your heart. Hope to see you tomorrow. God bless. Until we meet again.